Today we're going to talk about something very special. It's a very good day because today we'll be talking about plate carriers. In particular, my plate carrier, the Warrior Assault Systems DCS. Sorry, I was mesmerized by my own plate carrier. Can you blame me? No, of course not. So, the Warrior DCS plate carrier is made by, as I just said, Warrior Assault Systems, and they make, outside of plate carriers, chest rigs, belts, and obviously pouches and a few other tits and bits, but the main are plate carriers, chest rigs, and belts. This is their DCS lineup, which you can get in 6 magnificent colors, being this one, OD green or olive drab green, if you want to call it in the whole entire name, or tan, black, multicam, and the very nice Ranger green. Though, keep in mind, that's all dependent on availability on where you're from, which color you can get. Then there's another subdivision. You can either get the plate carrier on its own, bland, but then you have to source pouches, or, as I did, buy it in a set. Either the M4 kit, AK kit, G36 kit, and one other, but I can't remember it at the moment. So it's just primarily M4, AK, and G36. So as I said, I went with the kit. So what do you get in the kit? Now I've attached a few ones, so it might be a bit confusing. You get 2 small utility medic pouches, which I've attached either side. And you get, well, they call it 3 times, which confused me because when I got home I was like, they stinged me on the amount of pouches. But actually this is 1 piece, but they count it as 3. So this is 1 piece of 3 M4 pouches or 5.56 pouches, depending on how you want to call it, because that's the official name of the M4 magazines. They are the stretch, how do you call this again? Elastic type, open pouch, elasticated. So you put it to the side, you put your pouch in, you pull it over, and this holds the pouch down. Now you can get closed ones, so just the flap ones, but that's actually just personal opinion, personal choice, of course. Outside of these, you get 2 separate, which I just happen to have on me, exact same ones, and in the display video they attach them here. But that's entirely up to you where you want to attach them. Maybe you want to use them for your belt or something else, or attach them on the back for God knows what reason. Entirely up to you. So yeah, that's pretty much what you get in the set. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pouches, although on the website they will say 3 times M4 pouches, and then these, so it sounds like you have a lot more, but just keep in mind this is just I count this as one pouch. So in total, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pouches. I have the thing with numbers that I sometimes say numbers wrong. So, okay. First of all, let's go over the material, because that's very important with a plate carrier as this, considering its price point. This is intended for real use. So this is battle tested, and this is 100% military certified. You've all heard of Cordura. This is Cordura 500D, but some companies, I won't name companies, will say, oh, it's 1000D Cordura. Very fancy, because it's 1000 density Cordura. But actually, the either being at 500 or 1000, that isn't important. What's important is how it's been made and how the stitching is. So you can have 500, that's 10 times better than 1000 Cordura, because of the stitching being to military standards, which is exactly what Warrior Assault did. This is all 500D Cordura, but it is made with nylon treated thread according to military standards. Now I won't go into too much detail because that's a bit boring. Basically, it means it's treated against mildew, which is the biggest threat to military gear. And mildew and I forgot the one. I'll put it down on this description. So it's actually been treated against the two biggest enemies of military gear. So what that will do is it will cause degradation of the threads and ultimately failure of your equipment. This being intended for real use, you don't want this to fail. So for me, that's still an interesting fact, because obviously, as I said, it's not a cheap plate carrier. The stitching, apart from how the Cordura is made, is all to mil-spec standards, so to the highest mil-spec. So the threads used in stitching on the molle webbing, the stitching to put it all together, the threads used in the production of the Cordura is all the highest military grade threading you can get. So you don't have to worry about your equipment failing you. Basically, if you buy one of these and you treat them nice, they're built to last. So that's just something to think about. And last but not least, in case someone uses infrared, but this is because it's real use, it's treated against infrared. Very fancy. You never know when that might come up during an airsoft game, but there you go. So that's pretty much all the material sides explained. Just to show you a bit before we go into the plate carrier functionality. If you look more closely, like the molle and the stitching on the pouches is just very, very nicely done. It's double stitched, or as you can see on the molle webbing, even thicker stitched, so it won't fail. If you move to the back, you can again see the attention to detail on the stitching. Where the shoulder straps have been attached, all stitched, and stitched. So where it is double stitched is double stitched, where it is a sort of single stitch. It's almost a millimeter thick, so you can clearly see the amount of detail they've spent on building this. This is of course made in England because it's a UK company. What I did forget to mention is also the strength. So these threads meet the requirement of the military requirements of tensile strength. So that means they are able to withstand a certain load before they start to tear or come apart. So that's another interesting note to be mindful of. So now let's look at the plate carrier itself. Being a plate carrier, it of course carries plates. Now, while that may not be interesting for airsoft, you basically, for airsoft purposes, as it's now, you just insert foam plates, that's up to you. Or if you want to go the extra mile and insert real plates because you want to feel the weight for maybe a milsim game, that's entirely up to you. But it is an interesting fact to note. So it of course has front and rear plates, which are now filled with, as I said, a sort of foam insert to keep the shape. But it also has, which I will show you in a moment, side plates to protect your vulnerable parts on the side of your body. On both sides, of course. Now, in case of real plates, which is not really relevant to airsoft, but I still want to touch upon that subject, you can either go with standalone plates. Now, what are standalone plates? Those are plates that can stop rifle rounds on their own. Or you can go with soft plates or SAPI plates. And those are small arms protection impact. So that basically means it will stop 9mm rounds and sort of shrapnel. But if you're like wearing SAPI plates, which I just explained what those are, and you want to be able to stop rifle rounds, you insert ICW plates or in conjunction with. So that's a separate series of plates that you can slide in with your soft armor to make it rifle resistant. That same principle goes for the sides. You either get the, I think I'll have to be sure because this is quite important. Yeah, I mean, in case someone is watching for the entirety of the this explanation. Again, standalone plates or the ICW and SAPI plates. Now, I know this is intended for airsoft, but it's the same as getting those historic accurate guns or being as historic as possible. I find that this is an important explanation. So there you go, fully armored if you want, or in this case, as I want to run it, just with foam inserts. Now, molly. As you can see, we have plenty of molly. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me just check, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rows with the top 3 being Velcroed. So you can attach either patches or something else, maybe an extra pouch you can Velcro it on. But these three, as you can clearly see, are Velcroed. Did I forget something? No, okay. Not really sure what these are for, these rings. If I do find out, I'll put it in the description. Aside from that, you have these handy management hoops. So just to manage cables. So those are on either side. Now, in case you were wondering how the system works, you basically have all their pouches work like this. You have these long lines, I'll call them, because I can't remember how they're called, and you go behind the molly, which is a bit difficult, so it's a bit fiddly, but you get the point. You go behind the molly. I'll just put it through one just for the purposes of the video, and then you, maybe if I turn it around like this, you go back. So this is the back of the pouch, and you go back up like this, and that's how it's attached. Now, as I told you, it's a bit fiddly, so that's why I'm not going to attach it properly, but now you know the principle of attaching one of these. So these are properly attached, as you can see, and I've also attached these, which have come loose. So I might have done these wrong, so it's a bit of figuring out. Some people say to loop them over and under. I'm not quite sure. I'll have to put some more research into those, but as you can tell, they're now firmly in place. They won't come loose. If you do them properly, they will not. That's not coming loose. So, okay, let's move on to the back. Oh, yeah, that's the back. I was confused for a moment. We again have these nice rows with Velcro on them. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows of molly. So plenty of molly, because the molly continues on the side as well. So there's molly everywhere. 3 rows here, the same on the other sides. There's even molly on the pouches. It's molly on top of molly on top of molly. It's like a taco within a taco, making super taco. So there's plenty of molly. If you're not content with the amount of molly here, then I'm not sure where you'll find more molly. But there you go. Plenty of molly. So, having that molly round over, what makes the DCS very interesting, well, others might have that too, I'm not sure, is adjustability. So you can adjust the shoulder straps. These are just protective covers, which I'll take off. You can see here there's a certain amount of adjustment. So I forgot to mention this. There's 2 sizes. There's a medium size. You'll have to verify on the website. A medium size is between that and that amount of chest width. So you'll have to measure your chest. And the large one, which is this one, which is between that amount and that amount of chest size. I will put that in the description. So here you adjust the plate carrier. I'll just show it with this one, decent Velcro. And then you just either, adjust, and then we just put it back on. Same with this one. Same way, you just pull and then you adjust according to make it fit properly. But it is very important to properly measure your chest size, because otherwise you'll have issues. So do keep in mind that you verify that you're buying the right one, because some websites will not properly display if it's a medium or a large. They'll just have this on their website and it won't have any mention of medium or large, so do keep that in mind. Now you may have noticed a little bit of difference between the left and the right one. So the left one is actually releasable. Now what is the point of having a releasable shoulder? Well, that is to accommodate for taking it off while keeping your helmet on. You have to think of it as a combat situation. If you're in a combat situation and you, for some emergency, you've probably taken something in the plate carrier and it has to be taken off to provide medical attention, then you don't want to take off a helmet. You don't want to take off more than that is necessary. So this function is to allow you to take off the plate carrier without having to take off your helmet. That is purely what this is for. Now to put it back in, you have to fiddle a bit. It's not that easy. I hope I can do it in this one. No, it's a bit fiddly. Imagine this being a combat situation. So you have to make sure it's not binding between the... Okay. That was faster than normal. So there you go, releasable left shoulder for taking it off without having to take your helmet off. Another very interesting feature, a carry handle for allowing your buddies to carry you out of harm's way. Also very interesting. So let's see, we have, oh my, this is quite something. Fully adjustable. So there's, let me just check. So here you can adjust the side plates. Oh, let me just... That's the annoying thing about good Velcro. It always gets in the way. So let me just fully detach this. Ah, the joys of good Velcro. So you can see now it's completely loose. And then you, well, either, adjust it for your body size. God, no swearing. Yeah, so good Velcro, as you can see. Okay, let me just... So that's how you adjust the sides. So just to show you again, pull the back flap up and then you can pull the sides off and either move them further out or further in, depending on your body type. Moving to the front, yeah, that's because it's so we have these handy pull tabs. Again, same principle. And here we have it. So now we have the plate carrier completely. So there's plenty of adjustability. Let me just try and stand it up like that. Maybe just this side because the sides are similar. So there you go. So there's you won't have any issues of tailoring it to your body size. Keeping in mind you buy the right one. Oh, I do really hate Velcro. Now that we have our plate carrier open, you can see this very nice 3D mesh with a very soft foam inside, which allows for breathability and airflow to add to the comfort of the wearer. Very nicely done. Again, you can just see the amount stitched, 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 stitched again, stitched over here. I mean, this is to stop the foam from moving. So again, you can see the amount of attention to detail they've put into the plate carrier. The same principle for the front, also the same 3D spacer mesh, they like to call it, perfectly stitched. And of course on the shoulder straps, very nicely done. So again, adds comfortability, adds airflow. And if you're wearing one of these for a very prolonged amount of time, you want comfortability and safety, depending on if it's for real use. Now, you're probably wondering, what is this one? Because you didn't count that one. That is actually the only included pouch of the plate carrier, the radio pouch, which is, if you notice it, located on the inside, behind the armor, because communication is key. So that's why they've located it on the inside. It's also permanently, no, it's not permanently attached. You can actually just take it off like that. So, handy radio pouch. Now to access the side armor, so if you remember the plate carrier being like this, there's a flap on the inside that you pull, then there's even more Velcro that you have to pull open, and then you can pull this one out, and then you can access your armor plates. Now for the time being, they've added a sort of okay, this is permanently stitched. I don't know how they stitched through plastic, but they did. A sort of permanently affixed plastic contour plate. And here is where you put in your soft armor or hard plates, depending on what you pick, or nothing at all if you're going airsofting. That's your choice, but this is where you insert the armor plates. Did I attach it? Okay, this goes in here. And then this goes like this. And there you go, armor plate in. Same goes for the other side, so there's not really a point in showing that. Now, to access the front and rear, you just pull this open, and there you go. You can access your armor plates, which in this case have these, just to give you something to, because otherwise it doesn't have any sort of integral strength, well, form strength, so it will just flap about. Now you can choose to insert real plates, that's your choice, but do remember the weight will increase very considerably. And I see a delivery van. Is that a delivery driver? Apparently it is. Now the same principle applies for the front one, so there's not really any point in showing that. That's just the basic principle of opening the plates. Now, a very interesting fact is you can choose to either attach metal plates or, and I'll just be right back. Ah, the joy of delivery people coming in the middle of a video. So the plates can be either metal or ceramic. Now I've heard, now don't quote me on this, I'd love to have the feedback of someone who's a ballistic expert. Apparently it's better if you're going for a real deal. I mean, buying this for God knows why you need real plates outside of the realism. Apparently you have to go with ceramic plates because metal plates have the tendency to explode and become shrapnel. And they also start to rub against sides, the insides of the plate carrier. So unless you add some extra form of protection around the edges of the plate, it will start to rub through the inside of the plate carrier. Now this is all obsolete information, but I still find it relevant to add this to the video. As I said, it's a magnificent plate carrier, and it is honestly very comfortable. Now, do keep in mind, I'll put it on for you, but do keep in mind that it's not adjusted. So I'll have to adjust it for my, I think it's pretty good. Maybe it's a bit too high, so do keep that in mind. But this will give you an idea of so as you can tell, this one needs a bit of adjusting, but as you can see, it's it has to be lowered a bit. So there's still some adjustment to be made, but it's just to give you a general idea of the plate carrier being put on. And it's honestly very comfortable. This is actually the first time I'm wearing it. And I have to say, you can really feel the mesh and the softness of the insides. And it's actually providing a sort of added strength to my back, which is a really nice thing. So there you go. I'll put my arm to the side like this. Well, that's actually the same side, but you get the point. That's back. So when you're putting on a helmet, left shoulder, I have to find that. Wait, let me actually put this back on, show you the principle. So that basically means that's the principle of the releasable shoulder, as I said, to take it off without having to take the helmet off, but that's like real combat situation. So there you go. That is almost everything about the DCS plate carrier. There is actually recently, about 4 or 5 months ago, that recently-ish, a full releasable version. So that means if you pull a cord, all the pieces come apart. So quick release or quad release plate carriers basically means all the sections fall out, you can reattach them, but that is for certain purposes a more interesting fact than having this one. So certain groups prefer, or military groups prefer, more of a fully releasable plate carrier. So they, after they released their quad release plate carrier, they released an updated version of this one with the same capabilities. So it's basically the same plate carrier, it just has all the sections come apart. And that's basically all there is to say about this magnificent piece. It's just a matter of fact of adjusting it. It takes a little bit of adjustment, but once it's adjusted, it's spot on. As you can tell, it's high quality. This one retails at about 223, but that is included with all the 5 pouches. If you don't buy it with the pouches, you're looking at about 180 to 190. But I've calculated how the price, if you buy this on itself and you buy the pouches, you're actually more out of pocket than just getting the plate carrier with the included pouches. So that's my advice. If you want to buy one with pouches. They'll save money. And considering this is 223 euros, any money you save is nice. Now the bottom line is this worth 223 euros? Yes, for me it is. As I said, it's made from the highest quality. Even for Airsoft, it might seem overkill, but if you take care of this plate carrier, you'll save money in the long run. Because if you buy a cheaper plate carrier, not that cheaper plate carriers are bad, this is a choice you need to make. if you want to invest into something or not. It all depends on your budget and what you prefer to put money into. Your replicas, your gear. I'm just saying, if you buy one of these, you're not having to worry about your plate carrier for quite a while. But you have to take care of it. If you don't take care of your gear will still fail. As great as it's built, if you don't take care of your gear will eventually degrade. So that's just a point I want to finish on. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I also have a belt of the same company. That will be a later video. Do comment, like, and subscribe if you like my videos. And if you have any feedback, do write it down in the comment section. I am more than happy to learn, and I am not a person who shies away from honest feedback. So have a nice day or evening, and if you have any questions regarding this one or anything else you've seen, just contact me either on YouTube in the comment section or on Instagram. It's the same name without Airsoft behind it, so it's just daft as written on YouTube. Have a good day or good night and take care.